What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So the Heisman finalists were announced a few days ago. The four finalists, first the two that honestly already don't have a chance to win, are Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback from Oregon. He did have a great season. He completed 73% of his passes. That's second in the nation, over 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns. He had 35 total touchdowns this year. Overall, he also had 7 touchdowns on the ground. So I do think he's a very, very good quarterback. He's very accurate. He's got a pretty good arm. He's a good decision maker. He's one of the finalists. The other guy who really doesn't really have a chance is Cam Ward, another quarterback, of course, from Miami. He is the ACC Player of the Year and the ACC Offensive Player of the Year. He threw for 4,100 yards this year, a Miami school record, 36 touchdowns this year, over 343 per game, 41 total touchdowns a year. It's the second most when it comes to total touchdowns in one season by a Miami player ever. His passer rating broke a 40-year-old school record set by Bernie Kosar way back in the day. So he's a great quarterback as well, at least at this level. He had a great season. Then you have, of course, the two big guys. First is Travis Hunter, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He was obviously on the first team Big 12. Obviously, is a two-way guy. He shines as a receiver. 92 catches over 1,100 yards, 14 touchdowns. As a corner, 31 tackles, 11 pass breakups, 4 picks, 15 passes defended. That's the most in the Big 12 and the 5th most in the entire country. So he's obviously one of the main guys, the two main guys that have a shot of winning this. He's twice this season he's had 3 touchdown catches in the game. He's had 10 or more catches in the game 3 times. Also has had 700-yard receiving games. And my pick to win the Heisman is Ashton Jeanty, running back from Boise State, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year in the Mountain West. He's had a historic year, over 2,400, almost 2,500 rushing yards, and 29 touchdowns. Both leads the nation. Those are both records at Boise State and the Mountain West Conference. That is a record. 13 short games of at least 125 yards, including 209 yards and a touchdown in their Mountain West Championship win last week. He's had over 200 yards 6 times, 6 200-yard rushing games, 1,700-yard halves. He's 1,700-yard halves. That's just berserk. Absolutely berserk. That's crazy. He is the most rush yards in the history of Boise State, of course. He made a run at Barry Sanders' all-time record. He made a very serious run. He's actually got the second most since Barry Sanders' historic season back in 1988. So those are the Heisman finalists. To me, it's Jeanty. The guy's been an absolute monster this year. Travis Hunter, to me, he's been great, but he's been a phenomenal receiver. But to me, he's been a good corner. I'm not sure if he's been a great corner, at least when it comes to what he'll be at the next level. But to me, Ashton Jeanty should be the Heisman Trophy winner this season. All right, so let's talk about the NBA standings. Haven't been missing in a little while. Eastern Conference, Cleveland Cavaliers still on top. They are still rolling, 21-4 on the season. Come back to earth a smidge, but still playing phenomenal basketball at 21-4. Boston Celtics 19-5. They're also playing incredible basketball, as you would think. Of course, you got Kristaps Porzingis back a couple of weeks ago. Orlando Magic 17-10. Now this is without Paolo Banchero for a while, and he just lost Franz Wagner as well. I think both had torn obliques. They're playing some really good basketball. That's a very good team, young team, very good defensively. Jamal Mosley, he's turned into a really good head coach. 17-10. New York Knicks at 15-9. A little bit of a slow start for the Knicks to start off the year, but they've been playing some very good basketball. They've had an easier schedule as well, which has helped. They're a very good team, obviously, with Jalen Brunson. They're chronically talented. He has been absolutely great for the New York Knicks, at least offensively. He has been absolutely phenomenal for the Knicks. Mikal Bridges starting to get going. OG Anunoby overall has been good for the Knicks. Josh Hart's had a really good year. Knicks playing well right now. In 5th is Miami. As you see, the East is pretty mediocre. Miami's in 5th at 12-10. I'm sure you've heard the rumors that they are listening to offers on Jimmy Butler. Apparently, his top 3 destinations are Dallas, Houston, and Golden State. Above anything, he wants to win, which to me makes Golden State the top destination. Dallas, I don't know if they have the assets for it, really. If they do, they're really going to have nobody left. They're only going to have Luka, Kyrie, and Jimmy Butler, which is an incredible big 3, but you would literally have nobody else on that team. Maybe you keep Klay Thompson. So I'm not sure if it was even worth it for them. Houston, I think definitely has the assets of how many young players and picks they have. But, if I'm Jimmy Butler, do I want to go play for the Houston Rockets? I don't think that makes them a title contender, the Houston Rockets. They are playing very well right now. But if they crash back to earth, which is possible, of course, this happens all the time. I'm not sure if they're even the 6th best team in the Western Conference. All right, Butler will make them better than that, but are they better than, Oklahoma City or Denver or Minnesota, what we thought that Minnesota was going to be? What Golden State is right now, I don't know. With Golden State, they're playing really well. Obviously, they win a lot. Obviously, they've won 4 championships over the last 12 years or so, obviously. Steph Curry still there. They're playing really well. If you add Jimmy Butler, I think they have the pieces to do it. And if you add Jimmy next to Steph Curry, with the pieces they would still have left, I think that's a really good basketball team, and it's going to be hard to beat them, at least in the Western Conference. But he's still Miami, obviously, for now. You have Milwaukee at 13-11. They played a lot better after that brutal start. Giannis has been great. You just got Chris Middleton back, which definitely has helped. So you're playing a lot better. Atlanta's the first playing team at 13-12. They've been pretty competitive, I will say. I thought they'd be a lot worse. Brooklyn's at 10-14 again. The fact that you're 10-14, you're the second playing team, shows you a lot about how bad the East is. But they're another team. I thought they would be extremely bad, but they've actually been pretty competitive. They're another team. We've heard a lot of trade rumors about Cam Thomas, about Dorian Finney-Smith, about Cam Johnson. Pretty much everybody. That's a team that, if they are sellers, has a lot of pieces that they could move. Do they want to move Cam Johnson? I would think they'd want to flip Schroeder. Would they flip Dorian Finney-Smith? Cam Thomas, obviously, a big one. I would think they want to keep him, but you never know. It was the thing with Mikal Bridges. That's the guy you could build around. But if you can get a lot of draft picks back for him, like you got from the Knicks, they're working out for both sides. Indiana Pacers 10-15. They've gone through a slow start so far. So they have some injuries. They lost both of their backup centers, James Wiseman and Isaiah Jackson, to torn Achilles very early on in the season. And Halliburton has not looked right all year, really. He's obviously always been the guy that's passed first, but, his scoring's been crazy down. It's crazy down. So if he doesn't look right, they got to get him right. Both are also at 10-15. They're right there. Again, they're not a good team. The Eastern Conference is just beyond bad. Pistons are 10-15. Look, they're not a good team, but they're better than we probably all thought at 10-15. Yeah, Philly at 7-15. That's a mess. Joel Embiid, look, that's an overrated team. Joel Embiid's very overrated, as is Paul George. Obviously, Embiid's been dealing with a lot of injuries. Paul George's been dealing with a lot of injuries. Those guys have missed a lot of games. But that's a just disaster over there. Charlotte's at 7-17. Kind of expected. There's no whole lot there. LaMelo Ball's playing really well. Brandon Miller's been very good. Those are 2 really good young players. But also, LaMelo Ball's hurt right now as well, which is kind of the trend with him. The big topic with the Hornets, we've heard more conversations about, is LaMelo Ball going to be on the team in 3 years? Then are the Hornets, actually have a chance to ever be good, to be honest. You have the Raptors at 7-18. Scotty Barnes just got hurt again. He's missed a lot of time this year, which doesn't help. But still, it's a really young team. Emmanuel quickly's been out for a while. He's got a partially torn UCL in his elbow. Don't have a timetable for him. So just, a team that was already, maybe a fringe playing team, now is down maybe their 2 best players. They are having a lot of trouble. Obviously, RJ Barrett is balling out. He's playing really well. He's getting the ball a lot more than obviously he did in New York. And with Barnes and quickly out, that's even more reps for him. But he is playing very well. It's good to see. The Washington Wizards are 3-19. They are very bad, like extremely bad. I knew they'd be atrocious. I did. I believe I picked them to have the worst record in basketball this year. They have absolutely nothing going for them, like at all. Like Alex Sard, they took the second overall pick. He could be a good player. He might be. This is also a very weak draft. And then other than that, like Jordan Poole isn't any good. I don't think Kyle Kuzma is that great. I'll take those guys on my bench, but to be your like leading scorers, absolutely not. They are bad. They did not win a single game in November. I won the same amount of basketball games as the Washington Wizards in November. All of you watching, I won the same amount of basketball games in November. In fact, if any of you in the month of November, play like a pickup game with your friends, and your team won, you technically won more basketball games than the Washington Wizards in November. So if so, congratulations. Good for you. And then all of a sudden, like a week ago, they beat the Denver Nuggets when Jokic had 56 and 18. I don't know how that happened. But the Wizards are beyond repair. That team is absolutely horrid. Shooting over to the Western Conference, you have the Thunder. They're currently leading at 19-5. Kind of what we thought. Isaiah Harris said, I saw with the Knicks. He's a great player. He had a breakout year last year. I saw a stat. I think last year he had 13 double-doubles with the Knicks. He already has 8 this year for the Thunder. He has been completely as advertised. Obviously, all those guys over there. Shai, Luke Dort, Jalen Williams, Chet. It's, they got a lot of real estate over there. Memphis Grizzlies 17-8, playing great. John Moran is back for sure. He's balling out. Of course, they made some moves in the offseason. You went and drafted Zach Edey in the first round, filling your hole at the center position. Obviously, you've been a lot healthier. Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, all these guys, which has helped a lot. Santi Aldama has actually played somewhat well, so Memphis has had a good year. Houston is the 3 seed, 16-8, playing really well. They got a lot of young pieces over there. Jalen Green, Van Vliet's like the vet of that group over there. Sengun's a really good player. Jabari Smith. These guys are coming along. Emu Douglas doing a good job. He's a good coach. I mean, he only got let go because he was suspended for a year on the Celtics because he basically banged the CEO's wife. Can't really be doing that, but he's a good basketball coach. Dallas at 60-9. Luka's playing great basketball right now. Kyrie's playing well. Klay Thompson's been a very nice addition for the Dallas Mavericks. He's been overall, he's had some stinkers, but overall it's been very good for them. Golden State 14-9. Slowing down a little bit, but still playing well. Steph Curry is still an incredible player. They're definitely going to need to add another piece if they want to be a true contender this year, but right now are a solid team. Clippers are 14-11. I mean, kudos to them for even being competitive, I guess, with Kawhi off. He hasn't played a single game this year. I don't know what's going on over there. Playing right now, Denver 12-10. Slowish start for them. Jokic is still balling out. Need a little bit more from the rest of the guys. Lakers are at 13-11. What do you want me to say about the Lakers? LeBron, honestly, he's had a few very good games. He had a game, they had a loss from last week. He had like 38 and 10 or something, or like a 38-point triple-double. Other than that, he had a streak of like 21 straight missed threes or something. He had like 15 or less in like 4 straight games at one point. I think the wheel of the race will start to fall off. Davis has been great. Don't connect. That guy's gonna be a great player for a long time. But Reeves hasn't played well. Hachimura hasn't played well. We all know those things with D'Lo, and the rest of that team is just absolutely dreadful. But LeBron put it together, so that's on him. I'm sorry. It's on him. Stop with the trade rumors with LeBron, by the way. Can we stop? He wasn't going to trade himself. He put this mess together. Enough. He's not going anywhere. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And if I hear Brian James' name mentioned one more time, I'm going to scream. Guy is not an NBA player, at least not right now. Minnesota Timberwolves 12-11. I have been shocked how off Julius Randle was looked in Minnesota. Like, I always thought the Knicks won that trade. First of all, Karl-Anthony Towns is a better player than Julius Randle, and Don DiVincenzo is a solid role player. It was kind of like a add-on in the trade, obviously. But, and I knew that was I always thought that was a weird fit, but holy heck, this looked wonky. And DiVincenzo has been awful. Look, last year was by far the best year of his career. He was always a very average player. in the NBA, he bounced around the league in Milwaukee and Golden State, Sacramento. Obviously, he that was definitely, he definitely fit the best of any team that he's been on with the Knicks. Obviously, playing with his boys, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, I'm sure helped. Playing, he fit well in Tibbs' system, and he had a great year. And I knew he'd fall off. His number would go down a little bit. He was not gonna play as much. No, he's a slightly worse fit in Minnesota, but I still thought, all right. Last year he averaged 15 points a game, was one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. All right, he can average 11 points a game on maybe 40% shooting, maybe 38, 39. But holy hell, he's been bad. Last time I checked, he was averaging maybe 7 or 8 points a game, was shooting less than 40%, wasn't even close to 40. Yeah, he's looked off. Suns are 12 and 11. Look, obviously Durant's been out, but it looks like he's coming back. Beal. There's nothing over there, really. Nurkic just beyond cooked, what you want me to say. Spurs 12 and 12. They look good. I told you this team should be better, and they could be a playing team. Not in it right now. That's mainly because the West is obviously a lot tougher in the East. The Spurs, they were in the East right now. They would be the 8th seed. Right now, they are the 11 in the West. Now, obviously, Wembanyama is as advertised. Chris Paul. Not the same player that's going to make an All-Star team and average 30 and 9 assists. But that guy is still a good. That guy fits that team so well. He's had a lot of games where he's had 8, 9, 11 points and 12, 13 assists. Still a great passer, still a great leader. Look, I'm not a big fan of Chris Paul. I think he's very overrated all the time. He is not getting it done in the postseason ever. But he's exactly what the team needed, and he's played well. So kudos to him. Sacramento 12 and 13 hasn't gone super well so far. De'Aaron Fox has been great. He's been balling, but hasn't been going super well. Portland's 8 and 16. They kind of figured out it's a very bad team. It's very young and in a large rebuild. Utah at 5 and 18. I didn't think they'd be great. I thought they'd be a little better than that. 5 and 18. I think what it is with Utah, they have a lot, and they're a very young team. They're obviously in a rebuild. Obviously, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, you make the move. You send Rudy Gobert to Minnesota for a bunch of players and almost draft picks. You send Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs for a couple of players and almost draft picks. And so you have a lot of, you got a bunch, those young guys you got back and all those picks, the ones that you've used, you're kind of still feeling them out right now. All those guys like Taylor Hendricks and Walker Kessler and Colin Sexton. I think you're trying to figure out, are these guys true building blocks, or are they just kind of role players that we might as well, maybe just flip for a young player on the draft pick. So they're still trying to figure it out. That being said, at some point, you can't just keep running out the same group that is, winning, is a 31 team every single year. Obviously, they did the big contract with Lauri Markkanen. If things go really poorly, if they end up, right now they're at 5 and 18. If they don't really divert from this path too much and they win 24 games, end up being a bottom 5 team. Right now, they are the third worst team in the world basketball. If they end up in that bottom 5, they end up with, let's say, a top 5 pick in next year's draft. I can see them. I think Jordan Clarkson is a goner. I think Colin Sexton could get moved. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Markkanen gets moved. That's a little tougher because of the money now. This might take a little longer, but there will be moves made. I think they're okay, this team to me, I think of some of these guys like Taylor Hendricks and these other guys truly develop and hit their ceiling. This can be a good basketball team. That can be a team that kind of gets into the playoffs every year, but especially in a tough Western Conference, don't see them doing a whole lot in the playoffs. That's the problem. And in last place in the Western Conference is the New Orleans Pelicans at 5 and 20, lost 9 of 10. I think it might be time to break this team up. Brandon Ingram is once again hurt. Weren't able to agree on an extension in the offseason. He was in trade rumors for the third year in a row. Zion's hurt again. We don't know when he's coming back. This team is hurt every single year. First of all, Willie Green, I don't think he's a horrible basketball coach, but you can't just keep running it back with this guy. I get the team he deals with injuries every single year. But even when the team has been fully healthy, even in those stretches, for the most part, they haven't been that great. They have been better than maybe the 6th best team in the conference. So, like, at some point, I don't think he's a coach of his team. You need to change somewhere. But I think we need to start realizing that they need to trade Brandon Ingram. He's not going to be on the team very much longer. He's going to leave the Pelicans. It's going to happen. You need to get something for him. You know, Zion, I think we have to come to the realization this guy might not be that generational guy you drafted number 1 overall. I'm not saying he's a bad player. When he's healthy, he's a very good player. He's a guy that can probably average 24, 25 points a game and 8, 10 rebounds. He's obviously a freakish athlete. But the guy cannot stay healthy. He obviously has some work ethic issues and some attitude issues and, you know, some locker room issues. So, I think we need to start to realize this might not be the face of the franchise that you guys thought. Think about that trade, you know, to trade Anthony Davis. It's looking, at first it looked really good. You know, you got Josh Hart in that trade. You know, you end up just dumping him off to Portland. And, of course, now he's with the Knicks. And he's thriving with the Knicks. Alonzo Ball, you let walk. That's probably the right move considering his knee just exploded. But, he was only there for a few years. And who else is in that deal? All right, Brandon Ingram. He's been a great player for you guys. But you've also never won a playoff series with him. He's always hurt and probably about to get traded. At least he should be about to get traded. Zion has hardly been on the court. Yes, when he's been in the court, he's been great. But also, he's caused a lot of problems off the court, in the locker room, and he's hardly ever on the court, and you've never won a playoff series with him. And you made the move for Dejounte Murray, and that was a good move. You didn't give up a lot to get for the caliber that a player that he is, and he's overall played pretty well, but, like, I think you need to blow his team up. You missed your window. Look at the West. The Thunder aren't going away anytime soon. That's a team that looks like they can win multiple championships. You have superstar and Shai, and pieces around them. You know, Chet, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, Hartenstein. You know, all those other guys you got. You know, Aaron Wiggins, Alex Caruso. They're to me they're really truly built for today's NBA because they can shoot the three. They can defend the three. They play both ends of the court. They're deep. They got good coaching. Mark Daniels turned into a very good young coach for them. They still have a ton of draft picks. That team's gonna be good for a while. Houston should be pretty good for a while. They have a lot of young talent, especially if they bring in one more big piece next year. Oh, they'll be sitting really pretty. And to be honest, you never know. Maybe Jalen Green turns into a full-on superstar. Or maybe Alfred Sengun or Jabari Smith does. You never know. And they still have a bunch of draft picks. Dallas should be very good, at least for a little bit. Luka's still very young. You know, Kyrie seems to have quieted his other issues. You know, he seems happy there. I don't see him leaving anytime soon. Then Denver, Denver should at least be a really good team. I know they're getting a little bit older, and they've lost pieces recently, but Jokic is going to be at the top of the league, I think, for a pretty while longer. Porter and Jamal Murray are going anywhere. I don't see those guys going anywhere anytime soon. You know, the Spurs are only going to get better. I think Sacramento's only going to get better. Even Memphis. That team that should only get better. Ja Morant is still extremely young. And if they had a legit number 2 next to him next year, that's a team that's sitting in a pretty good situation. What do I name? 5, 6 teams? I think they're clearly been better than, the Pelicans, even if everyone's helping to play the top of their game. Yeah, it's time to break that team up. You missed your window, but it wasn't that. The window was like only cracked open to begin with, and then you just slammed it closed. It cracked open, you're like, actually, it's a little too chilly for this, and then you closed it. But, Pelicans might be time to break that team apart. All right, so let's talk about the NHL standings now, something else I have not done in a while. In the Eastern Conference, Florida Panthers currently leading the conference 11-3-1, 23 points for the Florida. Oh, wait, this is not right. Let me redo this. Why is this like this? Wait, okay. Bye. All right, on to the NHL standings update. Haven't done this in a while either. Going to the Eastern Conference, Washington Capitals actually leading the Eastern Conference, playing some really good hockey. 19-6-2 for the Washington Capitals. I knew they'd be a lot better, but wow, they're playing really well. The Devils, 39 points, playing great. 18-10-3. Look what happens when you get yourself a goalie, when you have all that good firepower offensively. 39 points, and third is Florida, 18-9-2. Kind of expecting them to be really good coming off a cup final. Basically brought back the same team. Carolina's in fourth with 37 points, 18-9-1. They've played well so far. Toronto's in fifth, 17-9-2. We all know how good they are offensively. The goaltending has held up to this point. They haven't been great defensively. I don't see them doing much because of their beliefs, but that's what they got going on. Boston's at 6th, 33 points. They've been playing a lot better. You know, since the coaching change is starting to spark them a little bit. They still need to be better offensively. They're pretty good defensively. Swayman's a great goalie, obviously, but offensively they aren't really great. Tampa's in 7th, 30 points. You know, obviously Timon's getting a little bit older, but still pretty good. Flyers, 13-12-4, have not been too shabby this year. I thought they'd be a lot worse. They've been pretty good. New York Rangers, 14-12-1. This team's in free fall. To be honest, Igor hasn't had that great of a year. Defensively, they are so bad defensively. I love Adam Fox. Kendra Miller overall has had a good year. Like, Schneider's pretty good. Ryan Lingard is awful. That guy's body, he's 26 years old and his body is already just cooked. He's had so many injuries. And look, I like him. I like his play style. But his main actor is that he plays through injuries. Like, that, you know, like, to me, if like, oh, you play through injuries. You can't see anything else good about the guy's game. I just mean he sucks. Like, he might work hard and be a good guy to be around, but he also sucks at hockey. And just so happens to be just a tough person in real life. So they're going to have to do something. I know there's trade rumors going around. Chris Cryer's been swirling. I've heard Mika, they can't move. That's just not going to happen. I've heard Adam Fox name jump out there. I don't know. I hope they don't trade Adam Fox. That would be very stupid. But something has to change. You know, this team looks like they're starting to get old. But defensively, they are just so bad. Obviously, you trade Jacob Trouba. And at first, for about 4.5 periods, they looked like a completely different team. Until they weren't. So then he started getting blown out again, and the defense started looking like jelly again, and now you lose to the freaking Blackhawks. Something has to change. Whether you make a coaching change with Laviolette, whether you make another move, whether it's, I don't know why he was running Ryan Lingard out there. He's making $4.5 million this year. He's going to be a free agent. I do think he'd have a market. I think someone would take him. Get him off the hockey team. He was hurt to start the year. Even with Trouba in there, they were playing really well. They were looking pretty good. They were looking pretty good defensively. Lingard comes back and they just fall apart, and the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. I don't understand. It's clear as day. It's not all on him, you know. You look at some of the forwards, you know, Kreider hasn't had his best start because Zibanejad has not played up to speed. Vintage Trocheck is just getting going. I get it. You know, some of those, bottom six guys aren't getting it done. Robbie Smith hasn't been great. Sam Carrick is just awful. Johnny Brodzinski, who's a depth forward, is probably a better player than him, to be honest. I might even throw Matt Rempe over him. Like, at least he'll be entertaining. Something has to change. Well, this season for the Rangers will not go as planned. Matthews gave Shesterkin that ridiculous contract. You know, you're gonna have to do something. New York Islanders also with 29 points. They have a lot of injuries offensively. Sorokin's had a bounce back year, but just a lot of injuries right now for them. Penguins at 28 points. I mean, we know what's story with them. Old. Don't play a lot of defense. Nothing to see there. Columbus 27 points. They've been competitive, so good for them. They have some young pieces there starting to come together a little bit. Iowa 26 points. Is Iowa ever going to figure this thing out? Every year it looks like they make some nice moves. They have a good team on paper. Maybe they make the jump, and they just never do. God, that team might just be cursed. Detroit, 26 points. They're just in the same boat. Obviously, they were great for a while. They've been bad for a while now. Every year, they make some nice moves. Like, oh, this is when they take the jump, and it never happens. And then you better be better defensively. There's no way around it. Buffalo at 26. I mean, they're the Sabres. I mean, I think they will turn the corner at some point, but they're like the Jets of the NHL. The New York Jets, that is. And the Montreal Canadiens are still very bad. Again, the East is pretty loaded. 11-14-3 being last in the conference is, usually it's a little worse than that. But, we still have a very young team in the rebuild. Western Conference, Minnesota Wild, 42 points, are playing great right now, 19-5-4. Winnipeg Jets have slowed down a little bit, but still playing great hockey, 21-9 on the year. Connor Hellebuyck's playing out of his mind over there. Vegas, 18-7-3, not much of a surprise there. Kings in 4th at 37 points, 17-8-3. They played very well. Dallas in 5th at 17-10, 34 points. Edmonton elsewhere has 34 points. They're 16-10-2. Colorado, 17-13. Obviously, still missing a bunch of key pieces, as we all knew going into the year. Vancouver is at 14-8 this year. Now, so they're playing pretty well. The West is very, very good. Calgary, 14-10-5, and a lot more competitive than I thought. They're playing very well. Blues, 14-13-2. Kind of what we thought. The West has been much more sassful than the East has this year. Seattle, 14-14-2. I thought they'd be a little bit better. I know the goaltending is a little bit of a concern, but I thought they'd be a little better. That they did some nice things in the offseason. Utah's 12-11-5. About what I thought. They'd be competitive, fun, but not necessarily a playoff team. Sharks, 10-16-5. I wasn't sure they're going to win 20 hockey games all year, so, team's very bad, but they obviously, you make that trade, you get Alexander Georgiev, a prospect, and 2 draft picks for Mackenzie Blackwood, and you send out Mackenzie Blackwood, send him to Colorado, and a prospect in the pick. That was a weird trade. I mean, both are below-average goalies. I guess Blackwood's cheaper. I guess. Marchard's got the extra picks and probably a better prospect. That was just kind of a mid-trade. Ducks 10-12-4. Days got Trouba, who actually hasn't looked that bad since getting into the Ducks. Chicago 9-17-2. They're very bad, but they just beat the Rangers, so I mean, what can I even say? And Nashville 7-16-6. The Nashville Predators are the worst team in the National Hockey League. Tied for the least amount of points and least amount of wins right now. They have the least amount of wins. They have sole possession of that. Wow, I did not expect that. The team that was in the playoffs last year. And then add Steven Stamkos, who's still a 40 goal scorer. You add Jonathan Marchand, who's a great player. Brachet, who I think they overpaid, but is a decent defenseman. So his team was already pretty good. I thought they would at least be top 5-6 in the conference. Wow. They fall off a cliff. That team defensively is just yikers. All right, MLB free agency. We had a big deal break last night. The New York Yankees signed Max Fried to an 8-year contract worth $218 million. Overall, it's a pretty good deal. Look, he's a great pitcher. You see his numbers through the year. Was what became full-time in 2019. That year, won 17 games, had a 402 in 30 starts that year. The pandemic year was brilliant, 225 and 11 starts in the pandemic year. 21 at 304 and 28 starts, 14-7, gave him 100 and 67 and 2/3. 248 and 30 starts, 185 and 1/3. In 22 and 23, injuries plagued them, 14 starts, 255 a year right now, 325 last year, and 29 starts. So he's very good. Has never gone past 185 and 1/3 in a career. 185 and 1/3 in 2022 is the most he's ever done. Some small injury concerns. He missed a lot of time in 23. He does tend to miss time, but it's not as bad. I feel like he gets a rep as a guy who's like basically like Jacob deGrom. And is like a guy who will give you like 12 starts a year. He's not like that. Besides the 1 year, 2 years ago, he gave you 14. He's giving you at least, obviously, besides the pandemic year, obviously we're not counting that, 28 starts since he's been a full-time starter for the Braves. So, like, he's not that injury prone. I mean, like, he's in 151 career starts. He's got a 3.07 ERA. He's a great pitcher. I think they didn't have a huge need for starting pitching. That being said, their rotation is a little bit older. They have a lot of injury woes. Garrett Cole, I think, still is a great pitcher, but is getting older. Dealt with injuries last year. Rodon had a big bounce back year last year, but he's a guy who's always had a lot of injury problems. You know, also Max Fried's also been very good in the postseason. Garrett Cole's been up and down in the postseason since joining the Yankees. Rodon was not very good in the postseason last year. You know, Lucas Gill was very inconsistent last year. Is still very young. You know, Marcus Stroman is getting much older, obviously. So, you know, but top three of Garrett Cole, Rodon, and Fried, wow. And you got Gill, you got Stroman, even Clark Schmidt, when healthy, has been pretty good, but that's another guy still young. Can be a little inconsistent, injury prone. So, obviously, he's 31. He's going to be 39 at the end of a deal, which, you know, the end of the deal doesn't look pretty. I would have given him probably 5 years instead of 8. That being said, the Yankees are in a win now mode. Don't have a problem with the money at all whatsoever. Starting pitchers are going to get paid. You know, there's no salary cap in baseball. That's why we see these out of control contracts. Until they put a salary cap in there or do something, it's going to continue. You know, when Vlad hits the market next year, if almost Toronto extends him, he'll get a gigantic deal. When Paul Skeens hits the market in 4 or 5, 6 years, he'll get a huge deal. It's gonna blow your eyes out of the water. You know, it's gonna keep happening. Like, I'm very bad at math, but that brings you to what? Like, it's not quite 30, 27, 20, something like that. He's one of the best starting pitchers in the league. You gotta pay up for a guy like that. It's gonna happen. Overall, I think it's a good move for the Yankees. Even though the back half may be a little ugly. I mean, Juan Soto, I mean, I think that's an amazing deal. But if he stays with the Mets for the full 15 years, the last 5 years won't be pretty. I mean, he'll be 41 at the end, you know. But when you're in win mode, you're not worried about 6, 7, 10, 12 years down the line. You're worried about, you know, now the next 5 years. You know, Juan Soto for the next 5 years should still be a top, at least 10 player in baseball. Max Fried for, you know, at least for the next 3 or 4 years, and that's probably the Yankees' window. You know, Cole's going to be 34, 35. Judge is going to be 31. You know, Stanton's, who's already declining, is going to be, 35 or so. You know, he should still be a great pitcher. I mean, you got to know your window. Also, the Yankees are freaking rich as hell. They'll figure something out, I'm sure, if the time comes. Toronto Blue Jays make a trade with the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians send Andres Giménez to the Blue Jays along with pitcher Nick Sandine. Spencer Horwitz goes the other way. We'll get to him in a minute. He was also flipped as well after getting acquired by Cleveland. I will get to him very shortly. So Giménez came up with the Mets as a top prospect, was a feature in the Francisco Lindor deal. By the way, I don't want to hear anybody talk about how Cleveland even came close to winning that. Almazar had one great year for them, was mediocre for a couple of years, and they traded him to the Dodgers for nothing. He's now a backup infielder and a journeyman. Andres Giménez had one great year, has not been a good hitter the rest of the way, and they just traded him away. Give up Josh Wolf, a pitching prospect who's been horrible, and then some other prospect who I don't think is made to the majors. And Francisco Lindor is one of the best players in baseball. So, mess with my trade. You know, stop it. I don't want to hear it. Look, Giménez, he's not a great offensively. He had a great year in 2022. For the Guardians, hit 297, 17 bombs, 69 RBIs, 837 OPS. Last year's has not been great offensively. 2 years ago, hit 251, 15, and 62. OPS was 712, and was even worse this year. 252, 9, and 63. You know, his on base this is what his slash line has gone to every year. And it was 297, 371, 486, 2022. Remember, this is batting average on base slugging. In 23, it was 251, 314, 399. Last year was 252, 298, 340. And his OPS also worked down to 638. So he has not been great offensively. But he is incredible defensively. Defensively, he's probably the best second baseman in the game. Can also play shortstop as well as third. So he's a great infielder, but not great offensively. I don't get why I wouldn't have given up Horwitz. I think they overpaid, honestly, for Anderson MS. Look, he's still only going to be 26 years old. I get that. So he's got probably a year or two left of arbitration. In fact, I will confirm that now. So he's only going to be 26. He's shown the ability in the past to possibly be a good offensive player. You know, he will only be 3 seasons removed from hitting 290 with 17 home runs and 60 plus RBIs. Oh, that's right. The thing with Anderson Nemes, they gave him a 7-year extension prior to last year with $106 million. So he's due 10.5 this year, 15.5 next year. Then when it really kicks in, starting in 27, it'll be 23.5, 23.5, 23.5, and he's a $23 million club option in 2030. Again, it's hard to really say if a guy is overpaid in baseball because there's no salary cap, so it doesn't really matter. That being said, if this guy is going to continue getting worse, right now he's a guy who's hitting 250, doesn't get on base, he doesn't slug a lot, his OPS is not good, not a lot of power, okay run producer. So he's a below average hitter. But he's a great defender. But Toronto was already the best defensive team in the league. They just had obviously spotty pitching. Pitching was kind of up and down, and just offensively outside of Vlad, which was absolutely brutal. So to give up a guy in Horwitz, who in his first full season in the majors last year, 97 games after coming up, hit 265 with 12 homers and 40 RBIs, only going to be 27 next year. To move him for another below-average hitter who's a great defender. I know he's only going to be 26, and he's under contract, for another 6 seasons. So I technically don't know exactly what Horwitz is going to be, so I understand, but it really depends on what Hernandez becomes. Maybe the change of scenery, he'll catch up to the level a little bit, but it wasn't really a need. I get, if the things continue to go downward for Toronto, which they definitely appear that way. We had Neil on the other day, and it's not going well in Toronto. Toronto, we have a problem when it comes to the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette might get traded. He might not be on the team by opening day in 2026. He might not be on the team by July or August. So, I see why they did that. Vlad might follow him out the door. Who's their shortstop now? My best guess, I guess they'll play Bichette there. He's already he's a shortstop, and then they'll play Hernandez a second. You can always move Hernandez to short if you need to. It's what he came up as. Anyway, I get the move, but between they had another Gold Glove defender and below-average hitter. It's not really what they needed, although he is not a bad player by him. He's a good player. So I mentioned Horwitz. Cleveland flipped him to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They got 3 pieces back. The main piece was Luis Ortiz. Struggled his first 2 years in the majors. Last year, as a swingman for the Pirates, did have a good season for the Pittsburgh Pirates. 135 and 2/3, 3.3 ERA, 37 games, 15 starts. He's still young, he's only 25. Because they got a solid young pitcher back. The other 2 guys they got back were just random prospects. Nothing, like this kid Kennedy. One of the pieces that they get back, Michael Kennedy, he is one of the guys that they get back. I think they're both pitchers. There's nothing much to see there with any of those guys. Kenny's still young. He's only 20 years old. 4th round pick. Right out of high school last year at 3.66 ERA, he struck out 28% of his batters over 82 2/3. He's a good athlete. He's got good control, but doesn't throw super hard. So I'm not really sure exactly what he is. And then they also pick up another prospect, which was Josh Hartle, who we really know nothing about. So was surprised Cleveland flipped them, considering they had. I mean, I get it. They do need a little more starting pitching. I mean, that bullpen is beyond loaded. No, we won't see Shane Bieber until probably midseason, if that. You know, outside of Tanner Bibby, there isn't a whole lot in that rotation. But, especially with Matthew Boyd gone. So maybe Ortiz can help that, but, they really need some bats as well. As to of J-Ron, there isn't a whole lot there. Now Hernandez is gone. Josh Nero's got some power. Other than that, there isn't that much else in that lineup for the Cleveland Guardians. Yeah, I think this kid, Big Christmas, by the way, that guy is going to be compared to Pedro Serrano. The Pedro Serrano references are going to follow him his whole career. Hope you all know that. If you don't know who that is, you go watch Major League right now. Turn your television and watch it right now. Great movie. But that was that move, and then a couple more moves made by Texas. The Texas Rangers. They re-signed Nathan Eovaldi, 3 years and $75 million. He's been very good for them the last few years. I think that's a good deal for them. They also make the trade to get Jake Berger from the Marlins. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of power. He's an infielder. Give up 3 prospects to give up Etri Vargas, Max Acosta, and Brian Mendoza. Never heard of any of them. So Texas makes a couple of moves as well. All right, we're going to finish up with NFL power rankings going into Week 15. Let's get into it. We're going to start at 32 and go up. At 32, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. This team, I keep saying it, I'm almost impressed about how bad this team is. There is nothing to smile about. You have Max Crosby. He's great. First of all, can you trade that guy? What did he do to deserve this? The dude, he overcame a serious drug addiction. He's done a lot of awareness for that. He's an amazing player, amazing guy. What did he do to deserve to be stuck on the Raiders? What did he do to deserve that? Really? Their starting quarterback is now Desmond Ridder. I said when this guy came out of school, if Desmond Ridder is your starting quarterback, you better have at least 2 quarterbacks on injured reserve. That's what happened. Atlanta just chose to start him because I don't know. I don't know what they saw in that kid. He's a beat. Desmond Ridder is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. They're probably they might get the first pick because I don't see how they win another game. I don't understand. I thought they might be able to beat Tampa, and they didn't even get close. The team is just dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. They don't do anything well. The quarterback room is a disaster. They cannot run the ball. What's their running back's name? With Zamir White out and Madison out. By the way, Zamir White is god-awful. Madison isn't great either. Sincere Montgomery or something? Guy's first name is Sincere. That's their starting running back. If Devontae Adams gone, who's their top receiver? Jacoby Myers. I mean, Brock Bowers is amazing. Yeah, you have him too. The Corvette or Lambo, and next to the shed. That is Brock Bowers and Max Crosby on the Raiders. It's beyond obvious. Their offensive line isn't great. Outside of Max Crosby, their pass rush isn't good. They can't stop the run. Their secondary is awful. They turn the ball over more than any other team. They don't force any turnovers. I'm sorry, but the coaching there is terrible. The leadership's terrible. They're a poorly run organization. No one has any idea what they're doing. They are a disaster. Jacksonville Jaguars are at 31. I mean, they beat the Titans. Cool. I saw a stat. Bill Belichick. I said, Bill Belichick taking Mac Jones to the playoffs and winning 10 games makes him the greatest coach ever. But him drafting Mac Jones in the first round makes him the worst GM ever. So, yeah, Mac Jones is your quarterback. Something's wrong when Mac Jones is your quarterback. They are so bad. Doug Pearson and Trent Baalke must have had their offices cleaned out since like week 8. I've never seen two guys be so obviously getting fired. I don't know how Doug Peterson has last the season. He must have something on them, but how he's last. He's not going to last. Within 24 hours after their last game, he's going to get fired. The notification Monday morning that Pearson's gone. Bye. That team is just awful. That defense cannot stop a thing, even offensively. The running game isn't great. Until the Brian Thomas, there's nothing there, even on offense. At 35, I got the Giants. Now they're going back to Tommy DeVito. What is going on? What is going on? They're going to fire Brian Daboll, aren't they? They might have to, I feel like. Well, I'd like to give him a shot for a real quarterback, but you cannot keep Joe Schoen. That guy is terrible. Look at the guy. Look at what he put on the field. The guy he's let go, Saquon Barkley, Xavier McCain, Leonard Williams, just keep going down the list. Oh my goodness gracious! Holy yikes! That is just horrible. Oh my god, that offense is brutal, like beyond brutal. Like I like Tracy, he's also got some fumbling issues. Malik Neighbors in that receiving room is like the Lamborghini next to the dumpster. Even that defense is kind of overrated. I love Dexter Lawrence. He's a stud. But again, can he stop complaining in the freaking press conferences? He's not a leader. Brian Burns has not been great. David Lowe has not been great. That secondary isn't good. No, not gonna lie. Maybe you shouldn't have gotten rid of Wink Martindale. I like the team a lot better with Wink Martindale. I'm just saying. 29th is the New York Jets. Do I have to say anything else? They blew another fourth quarter lead. Aaron Rodgers was washed. Now Breece Hall's hurt. They can't stop anybody. Their tackling sucks. The pass rush isn't there. They suck. Well, that's what I would say. 28th is New England Patriots. Overalls look pretty good. That team is so bad. Offensively, they are beyond horrible. Ramondre's not great. Gibson isn't great. That receiving room is beyond terrible. Bourne's not very good. Jalen Polk has been really bad as a rookie. They even play Javon Baker. That line has been great. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries. And even defensively, they aren't very good. Gerard Mayo is a joke of a head coach. They are just terrible. Tennessee Titans are coming in at 27th. No, Will Levis is very bad. Tony Pollard's had a good year for them. But Kevin Rivers were their only weapon in that room. Off the line still isn't great. And that defense started off really well. They have been struggling for weeks now. They have not been very good lately. Cleveland Browns at 26. Jameis Winston is hilarious, but not so good at this quarterback thing. He throws a lot of picks. Like, a lot of them. Off the line is banged up. Now Deshaun Watson is going to come back next year. They are cooked. Please don't fire Kevin Stefanski, though. What do you want the guy to do? Look at what he's handed. Don't do that. Don't do that. 25th is the Chicago Bears. You fire Eberflus. Oh, we're going to be sparked. They're going to be fired up. Playing the depleted Niners and turn on the game. And at the first half, they were getting outgained 312 to 4. God, they are horrible. I said with Caleb, this guy isn't good. Alfred's still a rookie. We can't, throw him over the boat yet. But that offense is just dysfunctional. Considering the pieces they have, the Bears defense has come back to earth too. They are just dreadful. How did you look less prepared and more dead without Matt Eberflus? That shouldn't be physically possible. 24th was Carolina Panthers. I gotta say, I was not high on Bryce Young coming out. I've beat on him a lot over the last 2 years. He's looking really good. He's playing some good football. Like, kudos to him. He's a good kid, works hard. Carolina might actually have something with this kid. Not gonna lie, he's been playing well. The problem is Xavier Legette. Why he was even considered before like the 4th round, I don't know. That guy is so bad. It's unbelievable. By the way, prayers up for Jonathan Brooks. That's just horrible luck to 13 months, you just get back like 2 weeks after you missed almost a year of a torn ACL and you tore your ACL or Achilles again. That's just tough. Second time in 13 months, that's horrible. I feel horrible for that poor kid. I hope he gets better very soon. Their offense hasn't looked that bad. Triple Hubbard's been really good. You know, when Adam Thielen's been healthy, he's looked good. Bryce Young is looking better. Bench definitely helped. That defense is just so bad. Their secondary isn't very good, and they cannot stop the run at all. At 23rd, I have the New Orleans Saints. That team, their entire team is injured. They don't have a coach. They can't stop anybody. They're expensive, old. What else do you want me to say? Now Derek Carr's out for the year. I don't even know who their quarterback is. Their quarterbacks are Jake Haener, who wasn't even that good playing in the Mountain West. And they just signed Ben DiNucci. Ben DiNucci. Remember him? The guy who played the one game for Dallas a few years ago and was horrible and was been in the UFL? Yeah, that guy. They're in trouble. They're what, 5-8 right now? Yeah, they're winning another game. I don't see it happening. Not with that quarterback room. Not to mention, their entire offense is injured besides Alvin Kamara. Their defense is not that banged up. They just flat suck. 20 seconds for Dallas Cowboys. You know, so how do you lose the game when you're the one that blocked the punt? Like, what is that guy doing? That was comically bad. You know, Cooper Rush is their quarterback. I don't think he belongs to him. Like, he's horrible. Their running game is non-existent. Lamb's their only weapon, really. They can't stop him. They're horrible. Mike McCarthy is the biggest lame duck of all time. 21st, the Bengals. Look, obviously their roster's better than 5-9. Joe Burrow is balling out. Jamar Chase has been amazing. T. Higgins, when healthy, has been great. But obviously, we all know about the defense. It's beyond bad. Zach Taylor is a just complete clown. The off the line isn't great. You know, the offense is great. Obviously, you know, Chase Brown has had a big year, especially lately. But also T. Higgins, he's not coming back. He's still obviously leaving. Everyone knows it. At 20th, I have the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, Anthony Richardson, he's looked a little bit better, but still clear. I don't think is right. That defense is really bad. Not much to say there. At 19-5, the San Francisco 49ers, it's over. I don't care you beat the Bears. The Bears suck. To me, you're 6-7. I don't see how you get in. Your entire running back room is hurt. McCaffrey's out for the year. Jordan Mason looks like he's out for the year. No, Isaac Guerrero might be hurt too. You know, Debo is not happy. He looks just really off. Obviously, Ayuk's been hurt. And now they're hurt. They got guys out on defense. It is over. 18-5 is Miami Dolphins. They're 6-7. Hanging by a thread, but Tua's been playing well since he came back. Tyreek Hill has not had a great year at all. Jalen Waddle actually looked better than he has. He's been playing a little better defensively, but not great. You beat the freaking Jets last week. Congratulations. In overtime. 17th is the Falcons. Kirk Cousins has been horrible lately. 0 touchdowns and 8 picks in his last 4 games. He has been horrible. They gotta start looking at Michael Penix. I'm sorry. It needs to happen. He has been absolutely dreadful. He has been pathetically bad. Horrible. And that defense is also terrible. Still, one defender about the guy who got lost against Justin Jefferson. I saw he was targeted 7 times, gave up 7 catches for 180 yards or something. He got 4 touchdowns and a perfect pass rating. That's as bad as it gets as a corner. Arizona's at 16. Kyler Murray is extremely overrated. Not that good. Can he please throw the football to Marvin Harrison Jr.? I don't want to keep saying it. They're not great defensively. They're in free fall. 15th is the Rams. Matthew Stafford's been playing really well. The offense is firing on all cylinders. Puka Nacua, man, that guy is something else. What a steal he's going to be. What a just incredibly good receiver. Defense is playing a little bit better. The Bucs at 14th. Baker has obviously completely remade his career up there. He's been playing some good football. Obviously, Mike Evans has been great. the defense is absolutely horrible, but they can score a lot of points, and they're in a bad division. That's all I got going for them. Now to the true playoff teams. Number 13 is Washington Commanders. Now, obviously, they're just kind of more of a story, but Jaden Daniels has had a great year overall as a rookie this year. They're at 13th. 12th is the Seahawks, playing some good football right now. Geno's getting it done. The defense is playing a lot better. 11th is Denver. Look, again, I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I think Sean Payton's very overrated, but Bo Nix has been balling. He's had a really good rookie year for them. Colton Sutton's been great. That defense has been phenomenal. 10th is the Chargers. They're a good team. Herbert's been great. They got some injuries, J.K. Dobbins, and then Lam McConaughey didn't play last game, but they can run the ball really well. That defense is phenomenal. 9th is the Texans. Like, they're still very young. Stroud's had an off year. He hasn't been horrible. Mix has been great. Obviously, that receiver room is great. They've been good on defense. The 8th is from the Green Bay Packers. They're a good team. I'm not sure if they're a great team. Jordan Love's been very good overall, but the turnover problems are kind of still there. Jaden Reed's been playing very well. That defense has been really good lately. They're at 8th. 7th is the Ravens. That's a very good team. Lamar's had another phenomenal year. Derrick Henry's been a monster, but they still lack another true second option to over their second receiver besides Zay Flowers. And that defense has been really bad. The pass rush isn't there. They can't stop the pass. It's been really bad. 6th is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm telling you, this Pittsburgh Steelers team is really well. Been playing really well. Russell Wilson has played well for them so far. Najee Harris has had a good year. He's at that position. George Pickens, I know he's nicked up right now, but when healthy, I can't stand the guy, but he's a very good receiver, and that defense is absolutely incredible. And by Mike Tomlin, coach of the year. How is this team 10-3? 5th is the Philadelphia Eagles. What is going on in Philly? Like, they're 11-2. They've won 9 in a row. That corresponds to when Nick Sirianni shaved his head. That running game is phenomenal. Saquon Barkley is not human. A.J. Brown's great. The defense is really good. The front seven's been phenomenal. The second has been a lot better. But you got A.J. Brown came out and said, the passing guy needs to be better. Then Brandon Graham, their D-lineman, came out and said that basically said, yeah, that could have been handled differently. They used to be friends, but now they're not. Then he apologized for it. Like, they are a mess right now. Nick Sirianni, God, I'll take him as an offensive coordinator. He is so not a head coach. That he loses the locker room every 5 seconds. 4th, the Vikings. Look, Sam Darnold, overall he's had a good year. He's come back into earth a little bit. Obviously, the bad turnovers are still there. Overall, he's had a good year. Obviously, a career year for him. That defense has been really good. That team is really good. Ken O'Connell is a great coach. They're a very good football team. There's the Chiefs. Again, they keep skating by in a lot of these games. Mahomes, he's been good, but not great. But they're in these games. They're at 12-1. They just got Isaiah Pacheco back. That defense is very good. 2's the Bills. They were balling. Obviously, they beat the Chiefs earlier in the year. Yeah, tough loss to the Rams last week, but Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. He had 6 touchdowns last week. Absolutely incredible. And, a lot of these guys are stepping up. They're getting better on defense every single year. And the Lions besides last week, obviously, Lions, best team in football. That running game with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery is unstoppable. You have this, really explosive guy in Gibbs who they're hard to tackle, and once he gets in the open field, you can't catch him. And Montgomery, who's another guy who's just very hard to tackle, gets a lot of yards after contact. Jared Goff overall has played well for them. Amon-Ra's great. James Williams has finally had a breakout year for them. That defense has held together despite having so many injuries. Hutchinson, a couple other guys up front in the secondary. Dan Campbell, man, that guy is awesome. That guy is maybe the best coach in football. Very well coached with Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn as the coordinators. I hope to God they win the Super Bowl. They absolutely deserve it. But all right, that's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.